Welcome into another episode of Inside the Expo. I think I have one of my favorite companies out there. We've got Chris from SmashUp Sports. But before we get into it, well, Chris, welcome and thank you for joining me for Inside the Expo as we talk about being a business going to the expo, being a fan, and just talking about what Smash Up is today. So, Smash Up is one of my, I got to say this, I got to start with it's one of my favorites. When I'm not doing well in fantasy, in my regular leagues, I'm able to just jump in and play some contests and just whoop other managers, especially with FSA. And I was able to dominate in a lot of ways. If I would have been consistent, but that was on me. So, how are
That's
you?
awesome. We love to hear that, and look forward to giving you another great season of kicking some tail.
Absolutely. It's been wonderful. So, do me a favor for those who haven't heard of Smash Up, and if you haven't, I feel bad for you. But why don't you tell us a little bit about Smash Up in general?
Yeah, so one of the big things in Smash Up is that we have always been about finding different ways to play fantasy, and so there are some fun mechanics. We have Smash cards that are kind of like power ups. You can play on your team or like prop bets if you think you know stuff that's going to happen to get some extra points. We have our single player game. And as you've said, as a user, you can come on and play, and we've always had that side. And as I think we'll get into, I think what's been really exciting recently is that we've actually been doing a lot more with companies and a lot more running year-round contests for companies and corporations. And so, yeah, now we've expanded. Last year when we talked, it was just football. And now we've got football, we've got March Madness, we've got the Oscars, we've got FIFA, and have some other stuff in development. I think we're hoping to do like Survivor, do some stuff where basically, look, no matter if you're playing as a whole company, maybe one person knows football, another person wants to play but doesn't know it as well, but they know Survivor or they know the Oscars. Now it feels like everyone's on fair footing.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fantastic. And I did get an opportunity to learn a little bit about this ahead of time. And so it's one of those things where you try to get an office league together. It takes a lot of time and trying to, gather everybody together. And they're like, they're on the edge and not necessarily wanting to commit. And then you have a conversation about, love is blind or something. You know what I mean? You can turn this into anything at this point. So how did this develop? How did you guys come up with this idea?
So, well, started a few years back. Literally, it's just me and one of my good friends, Hybo. We were watching March Madness and drinking some beer and talking about the fantasy season, and we just felt it was getting very repetitive. So we wanted to do something different, and that's what led to Smash Up. And then, ironically, it was a couple of years ago, having been to the expo, having met a lot of content creators there. One of the things we saw is when we talked about, well, how do we actually like monetize? How do we like grow the company? One of the groups that was most interested were these content creators who have 30,000 followers, and their followers wanted to play with them, and they could do a league on another platform and maybe have 12 to 14 teams at most. Really hard for them to scale that. They can, if they have 1,000 followers that like actively want to play them, they can't do 100 different leagues,
Right.
but they can do a smash up league. And so we said, okay, what's the next natural extension of content creators who, despite loving this, mostly still really want to get paid themselves? That is their entire model. And it was companies. Companies are looking for this kind of help. They have some leagues informally, but they're very siloed. They can be not intentionally, but just by the nature of a 12 to 14 person league, they can be a bit exclusionary. It's just football. Sometimes you're jumping between different platforms, and then the other thing is a little bit more kind of the HR side. For HR, it's also a little bit awkward. Excuse me, when employees are all throwing in money, into a pool. Now, 98% of the time it works out, which is why you and I don't care.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm at a company, I'll happily put $50 in a pool and hopefully win my money back, if not more. Um, I 90% I'm like, look, it's going to work out. We all trust each other. I know my coworkers is going to be fine. The 2% of the time it doesn't work out. If you're HR, that's what you care about. The
Yeah.
2% of the time
Absolutely.
are fighting, and now people are like upset, and people feel like they've been cheated out of money. That can be really awkward at a company. And so we call it like commissioners of service. We handle everything from like league setup, getting people signed up, doing things like power rankings and awards and keeping people engaged, setting reminders, and then handling things like end of the year prizes and stuff. So it's all hands off for the company, all hands off for the people. We do a lot of fun prizes too, things like those green gridiron helmets with like the company
Oh
logo.
yeah.
So,
Those-
again, if there was like some issue with someone felt cheated, it could still be something, but they're not going to care as much if it's like, okay, I missed out on a football helmet as opposed to like, hey, I put in, $50 and now I feel like Bill down the hall, um, cheating. Or in your case, maybe it's Nate. I don't know if he's playing fair over there.
So in your experience now thus far, expanding into companies being able to, is this all because they're looking for more engagement between their employees? Maybe let's say they were remote and they needed to go back to the office and they need to kind of keep things exciting. Is that something that you've experienced with this expansion?
No, I mean that's really perceptive. That's exactly what it is, and I think, but it works for both. Like we work with several companies whose employees are remote, and if you think about remote employees, they're not even as connected, right? So having
Correct.
something
Yeah.
to do, something to talk about on the beginning of the Teams call, or most companies give us like a Teams or a Slack channel, so people can interact in there too. Uh,
Mm,
that keeps them engaged, but obviously people back in the office too. It again just breaks down silos. So when you get, when you have a 12-person league, it might just be your marketing team has a league and maybe your ops team has a league. When they're
mhm.
kind of playing together, well, now they're in the break room and they're talking and, people are sharing tips and, two people who may not normally talk, me and the 60-year-old in accounting who's been there for 25 years, suddenly we're talking and having fun and talking about fantasy. And so, it really isn't about employee engagement. And so far, the results have been really strong. We keep adding more companies. No company who's joined has left yet. I'm sure
Right.
it'll happen at some point, but 100% retention. And, their employees have really been enjoying it. And the fact that it's year round means there's always something fun going on. And as mentioned, the diversity of games means that it's not just something for a small cluster group of employees, but it expands to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get every department involved. I was reading and it costs less than a happy hour. Why don't you tell us more about that? So is this something where everybody pools together or they go and they you Smash Up takes care of that? I know you mentioned this already, but let's break down like the cost and how you guys structure that a little bit.
So to be clear, there's zero cost to the employees, right?
Right.
It is the companies who are paying us to come in and do this. The exact pricing varies a bit by company size, but I have been the social chair at multiple companies before, and even one company I was at that had 100 employees, a single happy hour with food and some beverages. You'd be surprised that those can start to run easily, 5, 10, 15K, and we, are charging less than that. So you know, if you think about it, if you're doing, 20 happy hours a year, do 19, have us come in and for a full year, year round, there's going to be stuff to do. And, again, stuff that in this case doesn't involve alcohol, which I love to drink. I love beer. So
Mhm.
I'm not against that by any stretch. But
Right.
one of the things I found, even when I was social chair at the company I mentioned, is that when everything is a happy hour, you tend to get the same employees showing up. It tends to be a little bit exclusionary of people who don't drink, or they have a family, or they maybe have to drive home. They don't even want to have a beer. They want to be extra safe. So doing some stuff like this that is just fun, doesn't involve
Yeah.
alcohol, is a way to like expand the amount of people who feel engaged.
Yeah, it's not trust falls, right? In the middle of a random, meeting or something. It's so different and the variables of like the many ways that you can play is just really awesome. So let's say
You gave it away. Our next game was going to be Fantasy Trust Falls, but now
okay.
that's
Oh
all we got.
man, I ruin every no, I'm just kidding.
Now we
So
got to put it on hold. Now we'll
yeah,
set
yeah,
that
we're gonna
aside.
pump the brakes because Amber burst the bubble. So, do me a favor and tell us if you were okay. So, one, tell us where to find you in general. So, if you're just if a fan, we're doing, and we'll jump into FIFA as well and World Cup. But where do the fans find you? Let's get that in there now. And then, where do companies and how do they reach out to you?
So, easiest thing if you're just a fan, smashupsports.com. Simple enough. I mean, see the word smash up behind me if it's not clear what I'm saying. Smashupsports.com. For companies, smashupsports.com. just throw on there at the end, and maybe we can even put this in the description of the YouTube thing of the podcast, but slash engagement.
Nice.
SmashSports.com/engagement has all the information on the programs that we offer. And myself and Haibo are happy to set time. We've got a Calendarly. We can set 15 minutes. We don't need to take a lot of your time, but happy to jump in, answer questions, and share a little bit more about some of the results and some of the stuff we've done with other companies. And hopefully, give a chance to do a free pilot, give it
Oh,
a shot, get involved.
sorry. I'll have to edit that out. Give me 1 second. Let me close this door. Ren, I will have to edit that. Sorry, Chris.
No worries.
My roommates are dog sitting. Okay.
I think that Ren is just really excited to play Smash Up, and he wants
Yeah,
to start a league for the house.
he really does. And I think it would be a great way to get them involved because every time I talk about fantasy football, they look at me like I'm crazy. And they're like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what any of it is. So Smash Up's the perfect way to segue into other competitions, healthy competitions with roommates, friends, family,
Absolutely.
all of the people, right? So again, it's SmashUp Sports .com/engagement for
Yep.
that. And then obviously you can go to the website and just see how cool the graphics are and the cards and all of those things. So when this contest is running through companies, right? Do you set them up with their own? Are they able? They just log into the site. Like, how does that look? Like, because I've played, so I know what it looks like. Do you just log
Yeah.
into the site under like the company's name? What does that look like?
Yeah, we just create basically like private tournaments or private games for each company. So users just need to sign in. By the way, if you're a boss or your HR, you run the leagues at your company. You're like, oh gosh, my users are making an account. What does that involve? Let me just be real blunt. Nothing. It is like a name and an email.
Yeah,
We don't sell that. We don't spam people. In fact, unless you want to opt in, if you're on the company side, we don't even send you the normal like communications that a normal user would get if they sign up. Don't ask for a credit card. Well, there are some other fun games you can play on the site. There is, no gambling. So, if you're a boss who maybe had any of that sitting in the back of your head, you don't have to worry about it at all. Your people just make an account. They join the league, the private league we set up for you, and it is as simple as that. We have tutorials, we have videos, we'll provide one-on-one help to anyone that needs to really provide that white glove customer service to make things as simple as possible for you and your employees.
wonderful. So, how many years have you guys been at the expo now? Is this number 2 or 3?
So this is going to be number three.
Number 3. That's what I thought. Okay. So tell me about your experience at the expo and Smash Up at the expo. Obviously, you keep coming back. You find it beneficial. What is one of your favorite parts about coming to the expo? And then then we'll branch off from there. But what is one of your favorite parts about coming?
Honestly, it's so funny because this is a big change from year one to year two. But I think probably a lot of people say it's the people, right?
Yeah.
Fantasy is a community, and I think part of what makes the expo so valuable is we came in year one, we weren't connected to anybody. We didn't know other people in the industry. We didn't know the content creators. We didn't know the people running the other companies. We came in pretty blind, and we did more of a traditional expo presentation. It was great. We got some new users. We made some relationships, but by year two, we knew people, and our ability to like call someone up, to partner with people, to work with a content creator, to have people be like, "Hey, Smash It! You guys are actually really good for our company here. Can we like work on something with you?" Has been phenomenal. And I'm saying that in like a very professional way because I think to any companies watching this, where they're thinking about coming, that's really invaluable to you as a company, as a human being. I just love showing up, and like I know right now I am going to be in the plaza Friday night drinking beer with some of you
Yep.
guys that I see every year, playing bags and listening to music and having a really good time and getting way too little sleep before manning an expo booth the next day.
Hey, isn't that the truth? Oh, did I learn my lesson after year one? And there will be some information coming out, you guys, in the next coming weeks about how to survive. We threw out a newsletter last year of like how to survive the expo, and your first year you're just going with it, and you're like, I got to be with people, I got to be around, I got to talk to people, and
Yeah.
because the best conversations happen after all the events are over for the most part. So then you're up, but. But yeah, I agree with you, and I will say this too. So Friday is cool because, and I by the way, I love that you said bags because everybody thinks I'm crazy because I've never, not once in my life, called it cornhole. I know that's probably like the universal term for it, but it is bags. So thank you for that. I
It's
appreciate
like
you.
the fancy Ivy League way of saying it. I think, look, we're down, salt of the earth people. It is
Yeah, it's funny because I'm going to make sure I send this episode to Tyler and Corey because we've had 2 years of arguments over setup.
I'm
So
glad I'm Team Amber.
yes, let's go. And then Friday night party this year too. There's a pitch competition, which is really going to be really cool to see some of these young brands really come out and come alive with giving us a 3-minute pitch, this elevator pitch, and they're going to be able to win some marketing package and really just get their name out there. So I think it's going to be a good time. Everything's changing a little bit here and there, but the one thing that doesn't change is community. It just gets
Yeah.
bigger. So
Although
I'm
I
with
do.
you.
If I'm telling you my favorite part, I gotta tell you my least favorite part, which is somehow, despite having been in fraternity in college, despite believing I'm an expert level player, I have not even managed to make it to like the quarterfinals of the beer pong tournament either year so far. I don't know
Ugh.
if it's rigged. I don't know if I just am choking, but I am incredibly disappointed in myself and the way I'm representing Smash
Can
and
I
fantasy
say
football.
I do believe when you go, I've never been as a fan. I mean I go as a fan.
Yeah,
That's who
yeah.
I am, right? But when I go and you're working, we're constantly working. I really truly believe because I bombed in bags twice and beer pong as well, which I'm very good at. I did make it quite far, but like didn't get to where I normally would, like just killing it. So I gotta say, your mind, I think, is elsewhere, and I think you're constantly having conversations and you're being social and versus like concentrating on the game and being competitive. So
Well,
I
that's
can
fair. That's fair.
give you grace.
Thank you for giving me an out there because I am embarrassed by my performance, and this
Hey,
year I am coming with a mission to talk to a lot of people, see all of my friends in the fantasy community, make some new connections, and meet some of these new companies. Obviously, hopefully, promote Smash Up and do the stuff we need to at the expo, but also to walk away with a beer pong championship.
all right, you've heard it first, folks. We're gonna work on that, and you know what, I will come. I think I'm gonna avoid some games this year because last year I was too busy, and oh man, cornhole was embarrassing. So cornhole bags was embarrassing. So I will come be your hype woman while you're tossing that ping pong ball. So.
That's a deal. That's a deal. I need it.
Oh
I could
man.
use the help. So thank you for being there.
So what answer me this real quick. What makes the expo different from any other events in the fantasy industry? Like I don't think I've ever seen anything else like it.
No,
But is there any other events that you've been to or tried to organize or seen people try to create? Like what keeps it different?
I mean, I really think it is the fact that it's community first. My understanding of it, and you can feel free to correct me here, is that it started as more of an informal get together for King's Cup and of people who are friends. And because there are so many different companies and people coming, the educational or the expo component has grown around it. But it has first and foremost been about supporting the fantasy community. I think everyone who is there is extraordinarily supportive. There's obviously other good things to go to. If I'm not supposed to say names like FSGA, we love it.
Yeah.
We've been to that. A little bit more, I don't know if professional is the right word. It's probably not, but there's a little bit
B2B. I
more,
would say B2B professional for sure. Yeah.
like just kind of buttoned up. People are there. Some people will present and then like immediately leave. You don't even get to like talk to them. I think Fanatics has theirs, so this is a little bit more like gambling focused, but that's just like gigantic sports expo. You couldn't even sign up for a booth as like a fantasy company, but they had booths with like Joe Montana signing footballs, but you also had to pay
Right.
like $500 to get in. So I also think just this is accessible. This is about community,
Yeah.
and the connections you make are ones that have been invaluable to us. And again, just the kindness of people. There are some industries where people are super protective. They see every other company as a competitor and a threat.
Mhm.
Here, I feel like fantasy is still growing, and people kind of have that mentality that a rising tide lifts all boats. And from year one, and I can look back now and say it was good advice. This is not people trying to sabotage us. That like
Right.
we were getting really good advice from people who are looking at stuff and saying, "Hey, this thing you do is really unique, and I think works really well. Be careful about this thing because we've seen 5 other companies do it, and it is tricky and saves us from making some potential costly mistakes." So I think that that community that you guys foster is extraordinarily unique.
Yeah, and I'm 100% with you. And yes, absolutely, we can bring up FSGA. I mean, they're a welcome sponsor for, of the expo, as we are of them as well. And they've started doing their meetups, and they're expanding and growing in ways where they're including it and making it more community like. So we're all like, we're just so adjacent and running parallel up the hill, right? So let's dive in real quick though. Like, I don't want to forget about it. Is this the World Cup, right? We've got the World Cup here.
Yes.
So let's talk about what kind of opportunities we have with World Cup. Is that more centric? Is that more centered around your B2B, like your engaging with businesses, or is there going to be World Cup contests for us regulars?
Yeah, so we will have. I mean, we'll have a public game. We will have a game you can play. We'll have this that you could also start a league just with your friends. So that's totally fine. Anyone can do that. We want the site to be live. I mean, maybe I'm getting too like inside baseball, but look, even if we have someone from HR come onto the site, we don't want them to see like what is this. We want them to be able to experience and play it and see that there's a community, which there is. So
Yeah,
absolutely, like everything, you'll be able to play as just a regular user. But really, it is also for this, for these companies. So like we want to be fully year round, have something essentially always going on, with maybe a little week or two break for people to take a breath between seasons. But so the way this will work though for FIFA is it's not going to be for the first part of the tournament where it's all over the place who plays who. We may get there for the next World Cup, but pragmatically to get something off the ground,
yeah,
we're really focused on the knockout rounds, which ultimately kind of winds up being a very similar mechanic to like March Madness.
right.
So once you get to the knockouts, you have a bracket, you know who's playing who. We're making SmashCards for it. It should be a lot of fun, and it's just a great chance for companies to get involved. So if you ever were telling me, say, hey, this sounds interesting. I'm not fully sure. Is this something I want to do or not? Reach out to us. Like we'll set up FIFA for free. We'll do it for free. Just like run it with your team. See if
Yeah.
it's something fun that engages people. And if you like it, football season comes up shortly thereafter, and we can talk about how we can actually partner for a full year and run everything and keep your employees having fun and engaging with each other for less than the cost of a single happy hour.
Exactly. And I think my favorite part about that, like the work situation as well, because I do now work full time remote. And I think that's going to be great to find a contest that we can bring everybody in on. Cause we're like IT and marketing. So it's just like,
Yeah.
the tech guys may not be into sports. They may be into sports. Maybe the ladies that we work with aren't. I don't know, but it'll be great. But my favorite part, though, I think, is that anyone can jump in, even if you don't know. Like for World Cup, I don't know anything about football, really, soccer, football. And at the end of the day, I can go in and I can still play and I can throw some power up cards on some players or on some whatever the situation is, and you're just like, I'm gonna wing it, and then you can win. That's the best
Well,
part. You just have fun with it.
one of the things we've tried to work on over the years is when we first started, it was a little bit more focused on individuals. The goal is to make things like more different, more complex in some ways than like regular fantasy. And as we've moved more towards businesses, one of the things we've realized, and one of those lessons we got from people in year one, was right is simpler is better. Make it
Mm,
easy for people, keep it simple. And so yeah, one of the things too, let's say you don't know soccer, right? But you want to be part of the group at work. You just want to have a bracket. We make it really easy. Every game we have now has it's called a lightning button. So you
mm.
can go push the lightning button. It will fill out the entire bracket for you. And of course, you can go like make changes. So if you, but if you're, but the simulation is pretty good.
Yeah.
It actually tends to be really competitive. So even if you don't know, you can just use the lightning button to set it. Let's say you want to say, actually, I want to make the USA go a little bit further. You can do that. And otherwise, you can just like have a bracket to play, have something to talk about with your coworkers, and just have some fun.
I love it. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. And it's exciting because I'm like, can we do that? I know we're on fantasy football because we love it. But when you're really, 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 really busy, you're like, can you put a lightning on my all my leagues? That would be great. Anyways, but moving on.
Well, it was a game
Uh,
changer for football. I think we've seen a lot of uptake with it in football because
yeah,
people will hit lightning. It actually sets a really good lineup initially,
yeah,
and then some people just take that. Some people then start with the Lightning and swap a couple of players.
Yeah, and then pick your guy. That's the whole point of fantasy football. Is you pick your guy, right? Like the
Exactly.
ultimately, so you get all the other pieces, taken care of, and then you're like, oh, I want my guy because that's what you get to do with Smash Up. So, oh, I love it so much. I'm so excited. So if you haven't hit like or subscribe here on this video, please do that now. And then let's do me a favor, and where can we find you on all socials? Would you tell everybody one more time about where we can find Smash Up and how everybody
Yeah.
can engage besides the website?
All social media is at smashupsports.com. Actually, sorry, at SmashUp Sports. Don't need the .com on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter. You can see my thing there. Just also follow me at Sports Junkie. And yeah, again, smashupsports.com and smashupsports.com/engagement for some of the information for companies.
Right on. And then let's see. I want to ask you, I've got a couple like crazy questions and I hate putting people on the spot,
Yep.
but I think which NFL player would make the ultimate smash card? It can be anyone. One of your power ups, one of your smash cards. Who do you think would just ultimately dominate? And again, I know there's different rules per card and how
Yeah.
you do it. I have one in mind, but
Well, it's funny because we have several cards that we can't use the player's name, but there's sort of allusions towards players.
yes.
For the longest time was CMC. We even have a run CMC card. So it's Christian McCaffrey. Gosh, who for this year? I mean, maybe it's just
Oh.
recency bias, but with the Miles Garrett trade today and with his like 26 sacks, we don't have an individual defensive player card. So I think there could be like a Smiles, like SMYLAS or something, all
Mhm.
smiles, and something where like every sack by your by your defense gets even more points, or if
Oh,
someone gets a sack and a fumble recovery in the same game, it's worth 3x the normal amount. So I think Miles Garrett and that Rams defense is gonna crush some stuff.
yeah, I'm excited for that as well. And then I think the first person that popped in my mind was Marshawn Lynch, and I don't.
Beast mode, yeah. Are you kidding? Oh man, if we could do like a retro game,
Oh
we could have like a
man,
simulation for the off season.
yeah,
Beast
that would
mode
be
would be
killer. Well, yeah, we'll collab on that.
no
Look,
problem.
I'm bursting bubbles all day. No.
Between him, Marshall Falk's another one. He was just
Yep,
had those LaDainian Tomlinson,
of
Jerry
course,
Rice. There are a few guys who
absolutely.
would be just monster seasons.
I would love to see. Yeah, if we did retro too, I would love to see like the all of the '85 Bears defense because I'm a Bears fan. It would be
It's super
amazing.
specific to me too. Look, these are all great players. We would definitely need to have a Billy Volek card just based around the Billy Volek game from 2004, where
Easily.
I had him. He single handedly carried my team to a Super Bowl, my first
Woo.
championship. So
I love
we
it.
always
It's
have
like
some
me
respect
and
for him.
Sam Laporta year one. Oh, okay. Anyways, no.
We always remember we have our handful like for Billy Volek, Jamie Harrison. Like there's a few guys who didn't do much beyond like a flash in the pan, but like that flash, if you had them, you love those people for life.
I'm telling you, they hold on. I will end on this. I was able, so I we created a Alvin Kamara shirt for like the 2020 season, and it was somebody bought it and they were like, I will never forget them taking, Alvin Kamara coming in and saving my entire team that year. And it was a Christmas shirt, and she was so happy. Cindy Q, you'll meet her if you haven't met her yet. Her and her husband are
Yeah,
amazing. They go to like 9 Scott Fish Bowl live drafts and hang out and donate, and they're amazing.
that's
But
awesome.
she bought it and she sent me an email before I even met her, and she was like, "Thank you so much. Like, I'm so glad to have this." So yes, we are there. And then again, community this year, we're going to build on the content creator and brand relationship as well, guys. So if you're a content creator watching, keep that in mind because we've got some news coming out as well soon. So, Chris, thank you again, and Smash Up again. If you guys haven't seen or looked or researched anything, go dive in. It's fun. It's a good
Last
time.
thing I'll
So
say though is after hearing that story, now I've got expectations for like a Billy Volek shirt. I need this to wear around the expo.
let me I pull the transcripts from these, so I got you. I
Cool.
was like, I keep notes. So all right, guys, thank you so much. And tune in this week. We've got some hot episodes dropping. So
Awesome. Thank you all.